what's up, everybody? Welcome to the HollingsWorthless podcast. This will be for Wednesday, September 18th. As always, I'm your host, Big Irish J, and we have the Mass Clot, a.k.a. Syphilis, a.k.a. Motown Philly. What do you got?
A.k.a. Jonah Phil, a.k.a. Philharmonic. I don't know.
All right. And,
everybody.
2 weeks back-to-back guest, Manny Martin. Manulus Martin, my old roommate. This is our old apartment.
Yeah. Clearly a woman has taken it over and decorated it. Persian rug behind us, Persian lamp.
And so we were talking. We didn't get a chance to talk about it on the last podcast. We kind of cut that short because we were in the green room of the underground, and it was 150 degrees. And
A short and sweet one.
oh God, you weren't there yesterday. So yesterday, let's tell a story.
Oh,
You know Matt Erickson?
Yes.
He comes down to do a guest spot, and he'll be about this far from you and talk like this. So, we're in.
Is he really that loud? This is the Mark Ruffalo looking guy.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah. It was so bad.
Is he that loud?
I don't.
Yes.
I don't remember him talking so loud.
You know what I think? I think partially what it is, there's some comics who, when they haven't been on stage in forever, they just have the need to talk and just vent and say everything that's on their mind.
Sure.
And he's the nicest
I think he
guy.
was drinking too.
He was drinking that, yeah.
So we were in the green. So we did the first show. First show was fucking packed, pretty
Amazing.
much sold out.
Nice.
And everybody did great. It was fun. But it's 1,000 degrees down there.
Right.
And so we get done with the show, and Manny, and Mike are kind of in the green room, and I'm just, you know how I am when after I get done with the show, I just want to let me reset.
Chill, yeah.
Yeah. And fucking Matt and who else was in there?
It was Matt, Dallas Chang.
Dallas was pretty chill.
Dallas was chill. Robert Pitty.
But you're not looking to be like, hey, let's joke, everybody.
No, I just want to fucking
right.
reset.
And I had only had 3 hours of sleep in the last 48 hours. So I'm already annoyed. And I'm sitting there and me and Jay have this thing where if we're annoyed, I mean, you'll say it. I try to be kind of pleasant and I'll text. I'll be like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on?
By the way, Manny had the nicest shutdown of a heckler. We'll get to that in a sec. So they're all talking. And I mean, to their defense, they don't know anything. We didn't say anything to them, but they're probably just having fun, drinking, talking, whatever. But I'm just like, fuck, man.
You're talking about Matt right now, right? Or
Matt
the comic, the comics in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So whatever, that's fine. We didn't say anything to them. They have no way to think anything else. So second show starts. Matt does a guest spot. I'm sitting there waiting to go up. Manny's up there doing his thing. I'm sitting there. I think I was reading Instagram or something.
Are you in the green room or in the back of the room?
I'm in the back of the room.
Back of the room, okay.
By myself at a table. I'm just reading Instagram. I don't think I told you this. Matt comes and he just sits right next to me and just starts looking at me. I was like, "What's up?" He goes, "Oh, I thought I'd come here and annoy you."
What?
And I go, "Why?" And then he goes, "Oh, I don't know." And then I just went back to looking at Instagram and ignoring him. And then he goes, "Hey man, so I probably will have to leave." And I was like, "All right, whatever." So I go on stage. I'm 15 minutes into my set, and through that whole first 15 minutes, all I can hear is them in the back by the booth.
Oh yeah.
By the light. And I couldn't handle it anymore. I finished it, and there was about 3 times in the middle of a joke, I was about to stop and just go, "Shut the fuck up."
And if you can hear it as the comic on stage, then the crowd can hear it.
Yes.
And I'll let you finish.
No, what were you going to say?
Me and Mike are sitting in the green room, and I'm like, why is it so fucking loud out there? And, we're just sitting there just kind of getting back in the zone, actually the show's over, so I'm just tired as fuck.
That's really annoying, though, for the
show's over for you, but
show's over for me, but we hear you, but it's I just keep hearing somebody talk, and then all of a sudden I hear my name, and you were like, "Manny." I was like, "Oh, shit, what's wrong?" You know what I mean? And so I run out. And then he's like, "Who the fuck is talking back there?" But I think you said something
before I said you, I go like this. So again, I'm doing jokes, and in the middle of these jokes, I want to stop and be like, "Shut the fuck up!" I'm trying. I feel like they're heckling. They're
yeah.
So finally, I finish a joke, and I just go, "Hey, Matt!" I just start yelling, "Matt, Matt," and he never responds. So that's when I yelled towards you because I knew it wasn't you.
Right.
So I was like, "Dude, shut!" I go, "Who the fuck is that? Matt?"
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said.
Yeah. You're like, "Is that Matt back there?" And then me and Mike came out. And we were like, "Yeah." And then you were like, "Could you tell him to shut the fuck up?" And I was like, "Hey man, you guys got to keep it the fuck down."
Yeah.
And so
It's like borderline disrespectful, really.
Yeah, you're doing a guest spot. Your job is to just, shut the fuck up, be funny, and just.
Yeah, and then what did he said sorry or something?
Yeah, he apologized, and he felt so bad. They went in the green room.
I think he said, like, yelled to me. He's like, sorry. I was like, cool, go be fucking sorry outside. It's like, gee. And then I asked the audience, I was like, can you guys hear it, or is it just me? And then the whole audience was like, no, we hear it. It's fucking, dude.
Yeah.
It's upsetting, for sure.
So, yeah, I was, I was just fucking drenched last night.
It was so fucking hot.
Even hotter than Friday?
I don't know. It felt
I just
the
know
same.
my fucking
More people, though, too.
I'll put it like this. We had to move the fan to the stage, and it still didn't help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you were doing a guest spot, you'd see that. But
oh, well, good thing I did sometime on Friday.
Yeah, I meant tonight. If you were doing a guest spot tonight, you would have seen that. No, Phil.
And so
Everybody remember when Jay promised me time on Sunday?
Yeah.
That was on the podcast. Looks like
you got time.
Yeah.
Don't renege on your word, Jay.
Dude, I'm sitting right here, Phil.
That's a word.
What?
Renege.
Dude,
oh
you said
my
it again.
God.
You know that word.
Do you know the basis of that word? No,
it means take it back.
I gotta.
It's in the dictionary.
Phil doesn't know what to do.
I'm just fucking with you.
Phil just looks at both of us.
The president says it.
What?
Well, I guess this president probably ain't the best example.
There we go.
President of what? The Klan?
Yeah, Jesus.
Then I was going to say Barack Obama said it, but then you'd probably be like, well, you can say that. So then I got to go back to like George W. I don't know.
Oh, my God. So I had a heckler on Friday.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
Or was that Saturday? No, Friday night late. You were there, Phil.
Friday night, yeah.
Yeah, and I was so polite.
I do remember this.
I guess I just have gotten to this point in my life where I'm just too like I don't know. I mean, there's some people who so my wife is always checking me on stuff. She's like, you really told those people to shut the fuck up? And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even want to have these conversations anymore. You don't know comedy like I do. But then all I kept hearing was her voice in my head when these people were talking. And I was like, hey, guys. Hey, guys. Everything good back there?
Yeah, and then I think they were like, oh, sorry. And it was funny because I was with John McKay. We were watching. We were laughing at how polite you were, and I was like, yeah, I probably would have handled that different. Like, shut the fuck up, you fucks.
Yeah, you're a very school teacher about it.
Dude, I really was.
Excuse me, we're trying to have attention up here, please.
1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
Yeah.
Oh
Inside
my
voices.
God. It was crazy though. I think I was so tired. I didn't have the energy to try to think of something funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to get through my bits and get the fuck off stage.
It was funny because they apologized and then you apologized to them.
Yeah. I was like, what did I say? I was like, oh, don't worry, it's Friday late. I get it. Whatever,
And you were just like, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of telling a story right now, and I think you like it if you want to pay attention. It's like, yeah, probably.
Oh my God.
And I told a guy
what they're there
that some guy was at home fucking his wife.
Yeah, that was good. You got a good reaction from that too.
Oh man.
That'll be up.
It's always fun when the Fab threesome get back together, man.
But we... What?
Nothing. I just did a little yeah.
But Manny has a crazy story that we didn't get a chance to get to on the last podcast, so we wanted to have him back to tell the story of... So recently, Dave Chapelle released his special Sticks and Stones, and leading up to that, Dave Chapelle and Joe Rogan were on tour together, and they sold out the Tacoma Dome.
Right.
Which, how many does that seat? Like 20,000?
I think they did the record. It was like they sold 24,000 or something like that, and it was just like crazy to me. I'll tell you this. So everybody had bought tickets, and they're like, "Hey man, you going to Rogan Chapelle?" I was like, "Nah, man, I fell asleep on the tickets. I didn't get them in enough time." And they're like, "Oh, it kind of sucks to be you." Da da da. And I was like, "All right, whatever," And so at the day before, a guy we know gets a call from Donnell Rawlings' agent and is like, hey, would you mind picking up Donnell from the airport? He's coming in on Friday. He has an audition, and I'll leave some tickets for you, and you guys can watch the show. And I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, we'll do that. And so we show up to the airport. Donnell doesn't know I'm in the car, but I jump out. And at the airport, and he's like, "Oh, this motherfucker!" He was like, "They'll let anybody into the goddamn, airport area."
He was like, "This renege."
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, anyways, we go down, and it was the craziest shit because Like, we didn't even end up using the tickets. Donnell was like, yo, can you get my man like the backstage pass? And so I'm literally like, oh shit, man, we're just gonna hang out backstage. And for those of you who don't know Donnell, that's Ashley Larry from the Chappelle Show. But yeah, we're just sitting backstage.
And an amazing comic.
Amazing comic, yeah.
Crusher.
Follow him online. He's actually trying to start his new podcast. It's like the Donnell Rawlings podcast, but it's with his son, Austin, man. He's just like, this dude's so happy to be a dad. You know what I mean? And he was like, it was so funny. I remember right before he was about to have Austin, he literally was like, yo, son. He was like, no chick ever let me get this far. He was like, they always ask me for $300. And I was like, oh, shit. But, man, everything he talks about is just him and Austin. And it was cool. So, anyways, we're sitting backstage. And I'm like, oh, okay. So everybody's just chilling in their green rooms. Donnell's like, you want a beer? So he goes in like Dave's like green room, grabs some beers, and we're just drinking. All of a sudden, here comes like Joe Rogan in the room. And I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? And like, you kind of look at everything we've done in our career, and these are like the upper echelon of comics. You know what I mean? It's always like cool. Like, I'll put it like this. When I was on, I've only been starstruck a few times. And the one real time was with Kevin Hart on that Heart of the City thing where I forgot my name when he asked it and shit. And it was pretty bad. And that was on TV. But Rogan walks in, super nice guy, man. He's talking to me about like Mike Tyson and shit, and how like Mike Tyson has lost all like, you know, joy of like fighting and wanting to hurt people. So talking to Joe
that's leaves. A bad thing?
Yeah. I don't know. Like fucking, it's how he makes his money. Now he has like a weed farm, and he's like fucking crazy. Jesus. So right after that, we're all hanging out, and I'm just in the green room, me and Donnell just kind of shooting the shit, and all of a sudden, like this big like buff dude walks in, and he looks at me, he's like, gang, gang. He's like, what's up, son? And like just gives me like this hug. He's like, how you doing? And then he goes over, it's Chapelle, and he goes over to Donnell, and he's like, what's up? He was like, yo, I rented out a movie theater tonight, so after the show, we can all just go watch the new Tarantino flick, right? And I had worked all day, fucking tired of shit, so
when you even just heard him say that, were you like, wait, what does that mean? He rented out the theater.
Yeah, I was like, what does that fucking mean? And like, I was like, all right, clearly I'm not invited. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, these guys are just going to go do the thing. So we're all hanging out. Like, they go on stage. Everybody rips, kills. I mean, I'll tell you this. Being drunk and witnessing that whole like arena, I was like, fuck, my life will never be that dope.
Well, okay, that's what I was going to ask you. When you were there, as they're on stage, Donnell went up, right?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'll tell you this afterwards. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, were you like to the side of the stage?
Yeah.
Okay, so you like could basically feel what they're feeling or hear what they're hearing.
Oh no, it was so they actually had like it was an arena type stage, so it was there was no back wall.
Okay,
it was in the round,
circle,
right?
Right?
Yeah. So basically, we were over on the side, and then there was like probably 100 rows, and then they were just in the middle of the whole joint. We were on the side of the arena, but Donnell was like, "Yeah, son, record me, so we could get some of this footage online." So I'm like recording him and shit, and then right before he goes on stage, he's like, yo, son, he's like, put the camera away. These niggas are going to, like, freak out. I was like, you motherfucker, you just told me to record, right? I was like, what the fuck? And so I put the camera away. He goes up, he rips, right? And he gets off stage. He's like, yeah, son, you recorded any of that? I'm like, motherfucker, you just told me to, like, put the goddamn camera away. He was like, man, your asses is so scary. I was like, you had me shook. I was like, I thought security was going to kick me the fuck out or Dave was going to be mad. So anyways.
So when the place is the most people it's ever had before, and you watching these greats of stand-up go up, I mean, what was just being in that space? What was that energy like?
Dude, the energy was crazy. Like, imagine 24,000 people laughing in unison, everybody just happy to see you, like, knowing that you're getting a couple $1 million after this shit, you know what I mean? And you just
nuts.
And you aren't beholden to the rules anymore, you know? And it's like NBC can't cancel you, ABC can't cancel you. When I heard Chapelle do some of the jokes from Sticks and Stones, I was like, fuck, he's taking it there. Like, especially in cancel culture, I was like, God damn. And it's just like, it's like witnessing like an Eddie Murphy or a Richard Pryor in their prime.
Yeah.
And I mean, just a nice ass dude. So anyways, they do this Q&A at the very end. Shit's being thrown on stage. You know what I mean? People are asking random questions.
Before Q&A,
yeah.
The Q&A, was there any questions that stuck out to you that you're like, oh, fuck?
No, nobody asked any good questions. Everybody was fucking drunk. And and Dave was like, only ask dope questions, you know, like, don't.
Are you going to do a Chappelle Show season 4?
Right. But even, like, people were grabbing the mic and they were like, I'm rich, bitch. You know what I mean? And, like, Donnell was like, fuck. Yeah. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to grab the mic and be like, yo, Dave, I know that when you made Half Baked, it wasn't the version you wanted to make. So would you ever remake it? And could me and my friends have a part in that shit? You know what I mean? Put the three of us in that shit. But so anyways, the show ends. Somebody had thrown a glove on stage, and it had mushrooms in it, and Dave like kept it. So, so it was fucking crazy. So we all hang out for a little bit longer. Then everybody leaves, and I had parked at the mall, and we had to drive Donnell back. And as they're dropping me off at the car, like they're like, "You coming to the movie?" I was like, so tired that I was like, you know what? Nah, I think I'm just gonna go home, man. And they were like, Donnell just was like, "You're such a bitch." It just started like,
hey, your comedy legends and idols are doing this really cool exclusive VIP thing. Do you want to go? No, only one out of nobody is getting offered this. Nah, I'm gonna go home, go to sleep.
It was that bad. Like, that's how tired I was. That's how old we are now.
Yeah.
It's like I'd almost rather just like enjoy sleep than have, you know, like. But then I called my wife and she was like, "Get your fucking big girl panties on, get in your car, and go to this fucking movie because you're never gonna have another experience like that." So I get to the movie and I arrive before Donnell and the other dude who was with him. And I'm like afraid to walk in the movie because I'm like, I don't want. Yeah. So I walk in and the guy, like, first off, the security guy was like, "Oh, you're here for the late night movie?" He was like, "Yeah, they're just upstairs and whatever." And they had all this free food laid out, like fucking chicken wings, fucking free popcorn, free Skittles, all kind of shit, right? And I'm like, all right. So I'm just like grabbing some. I'm seeing people walk in, but I'm afraid to walk into the movie because like, I don't know if Chapelle remembers me from like when we just met, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" I just said these guys are invited, right? But
it's kind of like you're looking for Donnell.
That's exactly he was my in, right? Yeah. And so Donnell finally shows up. I was like, "Oh man, I was waiting for you." He was like, "Nigga, if you don't take your scary ass inside and sit the fuck down," and I was like, "All right." So I sit down, and the movie started, and I mean it's a 3-hour fucking movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like people are falling asleep. Fucking Dave is like, I didn't know Dave was sitting like four seats next to me, and I'm just seeing this guy just like chomp on shit. Dave was eating the mushrooms out of the blue glove.
Jesus,
I love that.
It was fucking crazy, man. And like Rogan and his wife were sitting like right behind me.
Even crazier that he's like a father with children.
3. Yeah.
And it's like, some random shit that just shows up mysteriously on stage. I'll ingest that.
It was
like, you have enough money, you can like buy. I'm sure you can.
go through a poisonous mushroom.
Oh my god, can you imagine that? It's just like.
And that was the end of Dave Chapelle.
Yeah. So Donnell is behind me.
So
he falls asleep like halfway through the movie and just is snoring throughout the whole fucking movie. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. It was weird. It was just like where our lives had been, you know, just to be in the room with certain like acts, and these guys had no reason to be nice to me, no reason to be cool.
And you could have never predicted that you would like have an opportunity like that.
Yeah,
was starting out, be like, I think I want to try to do some jokes on stage.
Right.
And then you getting invited to go see a fucking private movie screening.
It's wild because I guess like hearing what they did afterwards is they flew to the next city, and they had like IV drips waiting for them and shit. You know what I mean? They were like. And Donnell told me, he was like, "Motherfucker, it's the craziest shit to watch Chapelle." He's like, sometimes we show up 3 hours late for a flight, and the flight attendants are still so happy to see us. You know what I mean? Like, that's a level of success. I mean,
this is the good life.
Yeah.
How did you end that night?
It was me, Rogan, and a few other people on the elevator. And we all just kind of pieced out, man. And everybody was like, they were like, "Hey, nice to meet you," and all that shit. I was like, fuck, man, can somebody just give a brother an opportunity?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, you know. I mean, I wish it was
a Comedy Central. Jesus.
Oh, God, whatever. Fuck. But, you know what I mean? It's sorry the story wasn't more interesting, but, you know.
That's great.
Yeah, man.
I don't think, I mean, who else gets to know somebody or talk to somebody that got to do something so cool and special? I mean, especially, you know, I know Joe Rogan talked about this experience too, but still, you know,
it's always
somebody
like
of that, that level might be kind of, you know, leaving stuff out or like adding little embellishments in places.
Totally.
But you know, we get it right from the horse's mouth right here.
So
from
you're
Mr.
calling
Manny
me
Martin.
A black horse is what
I never said black horse. You're a white stallion. What?
I gotta work on keeping my straight face. God damn it.
Who was it yesterday? Fuck, was it? Oh, Coletta.
Yeah. Oh,
you could have got him so good, dude.
What did Mike say?
He didn't go through with it.
I'd never go through with it.
We were talking about TCC, and Mike was just saying he hadn't featured there for a minute, and then Manny said, "Do it." Like we were sitting just like this, like if you were Mike, and then Manny, what did you say?
I was like, oh, I thought that you had that whole falling out thing because of. That one guy, like, or at least what I heard from
and
right.
said
it's coming
so
from an
great.
honest place.
Yeah.
And then Mike looked at him and he was like, "What?" And then Manny immediately gave it up. And I was like, I was just waiting for Mike to look at me and be like, "Yeah, I thought that I was so ready. Could have fucking got it.
My
Manny's
God.
too nice."
I am. I got to be better about that shit, man. But anyway,
what was the worst when you were at the parlor? What was the worst heckle you ever got,
worst heckle?
or that you ever had to deal with?
Oh my! Well, it was when I got off stage. Like, so it was actually when I told that Knox story, and it was like, first off, okay, the show started. It was a Sunday show.
For people that don't know the joke, it's Amanda Knox that he's referring to.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Knox means.
So anyways,
Knox jokes.
Yeah. So that was the first time I had told it. Like whatever that whenever I told that story and I got that email, but I'm up on stage. I maybe get like 3 laughs because the show was supposed to start at 9:00 on a Sunday.
So it started at 10.
Started at 11. So,
Jeez.
and these people want to see the headliner. It's not a holiday weekend. It's not a Monday, holiday.
Who's the comic?
Just hilarious.
What?
Yeah, for real.
I mean, it's Sterling.
Yeah. And so literally,
fuck.
the crowd could care less.
Whose jokes was she doing?
Oh my God! Right, and so that
Okay,
was
go ahead, tell
okay.
your
Yeah, I'll
story.
tell you more about that
All
later.
right.
But
On the podcast.
oh God, okay.
Uh-oh.
So okay, I will say this. So Ralph was hosting. I don't know why I would ever feature after Ralph. Like Ralph is clearly a more seasoned comic.
Ralph's the best one. I'd say only other comic I've ever seen that's as good of a host as Ralph. I'd say Ralph is one of the best hosts I've ever seen, and Tahir Moore.
Right.
I don't know if you guys know Tahir.
I don't.
He hosts for Kev on Stage.
Oh, okay.
He's fucking
Just a
awesome.
beast, huh?
Yeah.
I'll just say I've only seen it happen, I think, once where a feature comic completely destroyed more than the headliner, and that was Ralph Porter at the Parlor featuring for Tommy Davidson. And I was really expecting Tommy Davidson to just come out and rip it, and Ralph killed it so hard.
Well, also at TCC, Nicole Byers, when you saw her headlining.
And you featuring? Yeah, that's true. Isn't
that the most awkward shit when you're like in line afterwards, right next to the headliner, and they're like, "We thought you were better than." And you're like, "Ooh, please."
I was just like, man, I feel bad for Tommy Davidson. Ralph fucking.
It was interesting with Nicole
reaction.
too, because you came to the show a fan of Nicole Byers, and then you watched her stand up and left not a fan.
I mean, I was just used to her as more of a podcaster, and I didn't know what to expect from stand-up, and it just seems like she's more of a podcaster.
All right, so sorry. Okay, so
anyways,
you're hosting for Jess Hilarious.
Ralph was hosting for Jess Hilarious.
Ralph was hosting. You're featuring.
So I'm featuring. So I follow. Like I'm listening to Ralph on stage, and he only got maybe like a couple laughs. So I'm like, they are either pissed that we started late, which clearly I know because it's a 2-hour late show, and number 2, it's like they just want to see the fucking headliner. They don't care. That's what they're here for.
Right.
So I get on stage and I'm just like, yo, this is the craziest story. So I tell, that joke, and that got a few chuckles. And then I did another joke that fell flat. And literally I was like, fuck it, that's my time. You know what I mean? I did like my 10 minutes because we had run so late. I was actually trying to get off the show because I knew it was just going to go bad, right? And then this black guy yells, he was like, "Damn, Manny, you bombed," right? And I was like,
While you're still on stage?
No, when I walked off stage. But then I looked at
as you're walking off.
As I'm walking off.
It's loud enough that everybody heard.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But then I yelled from the back. I was like, "Still got paid, motherfucker!" And then so I walked to the back, and man, I guess that was probably the worst heckle. I told you about John Lovett's thing, right?
Tell me again.
So he had said like something so offensive that somebody took a shot glass and chucked it at his head.
What?
From like back of the room.
Did it hit him?
It missed him.
Holy
But then
shit.
like he came back to the green room afterwards and was like, "Manny, you set that shit up, didn't you? You were jealous of my act." And I was like, "No."
He had to be fucking with you.
He was fucking with me. He always fucks with me.
So what was the Jess Hilarious story?
Oh, just what jokes? It was okay.
So for those that don't know, Jess Hilarious, I don't know her, never met her. I think I might have been on a plane with her when I was going to Appleton, Wisconsin. But she got accused, and it looked pretty valid, that she was stealing somebody's jokes. Did you ever see the video?
Yeah, there was a girl in the middle of the country who nobody knows that she was literally stealing verbatim her jokes.
Wow.
But I will say this: I heard the Dave Chappelle baby bit. You know, there's a fucking baby outside.
Oh, she did that bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so,
Well, that's just not hilarious.
And it's just wild to me, man. Like, I won't put names out there, but there's a big star who's also I did a show with. And he was doing Richard Pryor jokes verbatim.
I know Anthony Anderson was doing.
That's who it was.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, he's not really a stand-up. So, I mean, but yeah, he was. And the thing, I mean, in his defense, somebody wrote his jokes.
Oh yeah.
You know who?
yeah.
And yeah, he did the one Richard Pryor joke of like, grow more dick and you'll get more pussy here or something like that.
Yeah, if you had 2 more inches of dick, you'd have found some new pussy here. But I will say this, man, being on the opposite side of somebody stealing your shit, I mean, you've had it happen.
Oh, yeah.
You called the motherfucker out. But to see somebody drop one of your jokes on Netflix and my shit aired 2 years.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Why not?
Yeah. He's like, I like the non.
You know,
it's out there, baby.
You know, it's
Do you know about this, Phil?
I don't think so. No.
Okay,
No.
so I'll tell you from my thing. I mean, it's Manny's story.
No, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say you hit me up. Okay, so you did Heart of the City 2 years ago.
2017.
Kevin Hart's Heart of the City, and has a joke about what was the part that was.
So here's the thing: it's not the hardest joke to think of, right? But it's basically white people when you get back from your trips, you know, and when you're in the office, please don't compare your skin tan to my skin tone, right? And I started off the joke by saying, "This is shit that I wish white people." I call this new joke. This is a new joke I call things I wish white people wouldn't do to me in my cubicle, right?
Right.
And so I go through one, please don't ask me where you can score drugs, which was a true story. And then I say, please don't compare your skin tan to my skin tone, right?
Right.
When you get back from your vacations. And I talk about my buddy Hugh and how he got back and he's like, Manny, hey, stick out your arm, huh? Almost there. Right? I was like, that's hurtful. And my follow-up punch was just so stupid. I said, that's like me being at the work pool party, and I jump in some cold water. I look at Hugh, and I'm like, hey, Hugh, tiny dick, huh? Almost there. It's stupid, right? It's dumb, but that was my joke. 2017, I'd actually been doing that shit since probably 2012, just like perfecting it slowly over time. So my mom and my sister calls me up, and she's like, did you see this shit? I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, this bitch did your joke on her Netflix special almost verbatim as you. And I'm like, well, it's not that hard of a premise. But then when you see the delivery and how she delivers it, Wanda Sykes literally says, when you go back to your office, white people, please don't be comparing, your skin tan to their skin, to skin tone. And she sticks out her arm and she's like, hey, Phil, or something. Phil is almost there. And then she says something like,
holy shit,
black people be wishing like the horrible shit on you like sickle cell. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, one, either you had a writer who saw that shit and was like, oh, we'll just pass it off to Wanda as our own. But it was just the mannerisms, the almost there.
Was it online? Like, had you posted that online?
They were running it.
They were running it. It was her. It was literally her promo for her special.
I mean.
Oh, mine.
You what was this joke posted anywhere to where?
So my Heart of the City thing. It was actually the number. It was the promo for our episode, and so it was like one. It was on all advertisements for like the weeks leading up to it. It was running on Facebook, and it had like
it was everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
And then hers came out after even that.
Yeah.
2 years.
Like mine, wow. Mine had like 100,000 views on like Facebook.
How long ago was Heart of the City?
2017. Yeah, and so
when did her Wanda Sykes thing come out?
2019.
Oh, I didn't realize she just had a special come out.
2 years.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. I don't know. Maybe it's 2 years before the year that you're talking about.
But, I mean, it's like me and Jay always talk about it, and it's like
Mandela effect, bro.
I use that for everything.
Oh, yeah, seriously. Me and Jay always talk about, like, your career should be bigger than one joke. And it was at the end of the day, I was like, do I really want to go to war with a juggernaut?
Yeah.
And like,
what'd you call her?
A juggernaut.
Oh, okay.
Like she's kind of a.
What do you think that means?
Whatever. What? I was trying to put it on Manny. You can't put this shit on me.
I can. I had like
I do a lot of juggler nodding.
Whoa.
Juggler not. I'm a juggler not.
That's so stupid.
Would that mean you wouldn't juggle, right?
Sorry, I got something stuck in my throat.
I had a joke that was posted, and it had been it's funny because I don't really do it in my set, but the shaming joke I have, it's got like 130,000 views online, but it's like I would start the joke off by like, I'm like, you're not supposed to fat shame, you're not supposed to slut shame. Can we stop shaming shame? And then Bill Burr, a year later, Burr's special comes out, and he's like, yeah, it's like they're shaming shame. Or shaming. It was like almost like the exact same type of verbiage, and I was like, "Fuck!" But then he goes somewhere different with his joke, and not to sound like a prick, but I actually like where I go better. But then I remember one person on my thing commented, they're like, "Oh, this is really similar to Burr's bit, or you bit off a Burr's bit," and then I just
check the receipts, bitch.
Yeah, I replied to him. I was like, "This is a year before Burr's, so are you gonna go comment on his shit and say he stole it from me, you fucking idiot?" Dude. But yeah, it's just
wild. Shit. And my big thing with Wanda was like, when was the last time you were in an office and anybody even dared to compare their skin tan to your skin tone? Because you've been a boss for like the last 10, probably 20 years, you know, working with Chris Rock and all these people. So like, I doubt any white person's like, "Hey, Wanda, almost there," you know? So I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, it was like, what if she's like a gatekeeper and is like, you know what? I don't like this dude because he literally called me out and put it on blast online.
Well, I'll use this clip as the promo.
There you go. End of career.
And tag her. Phil, what did you said you wanted to bring up something?
Yeah, I wanted to bring something.
Was there any mail?
Not this week.
You never did forward the one stuff to me.
Forward what? Oh, yeah, that cool stuff about our podcast. Yeah, I will forward that to you, sir. And if anybody does want to email anything in for us to debate or talk about or receive praise or criticize, condemn, complain, you may. Please do. Send us a picture of yourself. We'll talk about you. I don't know. Send us anything. So write us a secret that you've been harboring for years. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, and I can just see it. This next secret comes from Frank Johansson.
Who's that?
Jesus.
You don't know Frank Johansson?
No. Frank Johansson?
Yeah.
I have no idea who that is.
Dude, the Frank Johansson.
Frank Johansson. What are you talking about?
Are you
serious? Who the fuck is Frank Johansson?
Are you serious?
I swear to God!
No, really.
What do you mean, no, really?
You don't know who Frank Johansson is?
There's only one true Frank Johansson.
Johansson.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah, he's with the guy. Who the fuck is Frank Johansson?
Quit fucking around.
What are you saying it like that for?
You don't know who Frank Johansson is?
Why should I know who that is?
It's nobody. You fucking idiot.
That's exactly why I don't know who it is.
No. The joke was you would be saying somebody's name. They send an email in with a secret, and you would just announce their name. I just said randomly, Frank Johansson. You fucking idiot.
Well, I would keep their name a secret. I wouldn't say Frank Johansson.
Oh, my God.
Don't worry.
Frank Johansson.
Frank, you're safe with us. All right? If your name's Frank Johansson.
God, I love that you're like, wait, who's Frank Johansson?
You're acting like I love that. Like maybe he was a listener that likes your stuff.
I was just going to be like Mandela effect, Frank, Frank Johansson.
Oh, God. Anyway.
I committed.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
if you're still listening, send us an email to hwppod@gmail.com. That's hwppod@gmail.com.
You know what we could do on this also, and we can ask for the listeners to email in. Phil was talking about at some point we should do a Patreon, and we had one before, but I don't really I don't know what to provide. I look at some other. I won't say these people, but there. I know other people that have Patreons and they have certain things at certain donation levels. But then I know some people that literally are like, you'll get bonus episodes. That's it. But you can donate at different amounts, but you don't get anything more for the different amounts. It's just like if you want to donate more because you support me in whatever we're doing.
I mean, I've perused a lot of people's pages and kind of seen what certain people offer, and I just think that if you are going to have levels, you got to provide more, you know, and I'm totally open for that.
Why don't you just give them a shout out? You know what I mean? give them a little bit of an advertisement. Be like, yo, shout out to this person.
I would shout out people, like if we did at the end of the episode, we shouted out like our top, people that are supporting the show.
Yeah.
I would totally end it with like, thank you so
we could ask
for like whatever level that would be.
Or we can answer a question, or we could, or you get tickets to
Phil's
one
dating tips.
Yeah, totally. You get Phil's dating tips.
Yeah.
Or you can go on a date with Phil.
Tickets to shows, or, if you're in the area.
Is that like is that prostitution if we do that?
I will be a prostitute to anybody.
A bunch of like dudes.
Yeah, sure. As long as you're
Johansson.
paying, I'm doing.
Demons.
Yeah. So I mean, newsletters, bonus episodes, video content. I mean, we could, talk to us one-on-one. We could do a Skype call with you and check in with you, see how you're doing, and just fucking anything. I want to make ourselves available because look, if you guys love this, I love that, and Jay and I, if you can't tell, are really happy that we're back doing this.
Yes, we are.
And so, I think it would be awesome if we can grow this into something special and we can commit more and more time to doing it. You guys know that I am a construction worker, and I really haven't been trying to plan on doing that for the rest of my life. I think I'm decently funny enough, at least as a podcaster.
You're the Nicole Byer of...
Yeah, right, exactly.
The Nicholas Byers.
So let's make this a thing. Look out for that in the future. We're not going to start it probably right away, but I think it's something we should totally look into. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, and also, I haven't even told you this, Phil, but there's a possibility we may have 3 haunted Hollingsworthlesses this year. So you're coming to Flagstaff.
Yes.
I'm going to try and do one, arrange it. Sean's not going to be able to come out for that one.
Okay.
When we go to Richland, you're coming out to Richland.
I should make
We're
it
going to try and do one there.
Yep.
So that's 2. And then I was talking to Sean, and leading up to Halloween, and that we were talking, or even maybe after that, me, Sean, Kane, and if you want to come down, do one in L.A.
Yeah, share the dates with me and we'll find out.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, it'll depend. Sound more wintertime almost, huh?
Yeah, and dude, that would be dope on the Patreon.
Not that I want to be laid off, but if I'm laid off, I can totally come.
Well, no, it'd be a weekend.
Yeah, hit it and quit it. Yeah. I mean, for the hit L.A. for the weekend and then
with your hand
and then quit the weekend, like going back home. Hit it and quit it. I don't know.
That would be dope. What'd be dope is if once, whenever we start a Patreon, we should have a level that it'd be pretty expensive, but if somebody wants us to come out and do a HollingsWorthless haunted at whatever location,
sure.
We'll fly out there. We'll go to the hotel or whatever it is and stay the night and.
Or even you can sit in on the podcast.
Yeah.
Not necessarily be a guest, but sit in and hang out with us while we're doing it.
That'd be dope.
That's a cool level too. So I think we can really have fun with it if people think that that's interesting to them, and if not, then we will just disappear into mediocrity.
Fuck.
Yeah, but we were gonna say something. I thought we were about to say...
You were.
Yeah, I was, right. I would just say that...
We were talking about Frank Johansson. What brought up Frank? We were talking about emails. You saying people can email in?
Yes, I did say that.
If they have a secret they want to reveal?
Secrets. You can tell us secrets. Hello. I'm Michael Kane.
Are you going to do guest spots in Richland?
Yeah, Jay. Do I get time on the Richland shows?
Well, I don't want to say yes now.
So you can renege on your word?
What?
So you can renege on your word?
Dude.
So you can do a Chinese runaround thing?
God.
Or whatever. What's that called?
The Chinese fire drill.
Chinese fire drill.
I don't even know if you could call that anymore.
I think it was...
is that canceled?
No,
I think it was something giver.
Indian giver? What?
Whoa.
Okay, we used to say this kind of shit in grade school. Is that not okay?
What? You said what?
You're an Indian
school?
giver.
Oh, I thought you were about to say the N-word.
No. Why would I say that?
Why would you?
Because it's not okay.
Oh my
That's
You've
why
been
I
saying it
wouldn't
all
say
podcast.
No, I haven't. I've been saying renege.
Jesus Christ.
Well, don't act like that's a bad word, Jay. It's a legit word in America that we
So
can
good.
use. Everybody can use it.
It's your white privilege.
This is America.
Don't catch you slipping. No. Yeah. So, any hoodles.
Do you remember?
I'll just say this is coming out a week later than when people heard it, but I went and saw the It movie, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I kind of agreed with everybody. It was decent. It was 3 out of 5 for me.
There you go.
But I will say I don't know about scary movies, man. Like, do you find that? I guess now that we're older and
Did you see Hereditary?
can see through it. I'm just saying, like, when it
didn't.
gets to the scary parts and you see the monsters. I did see Hereditary. It's just not. It comes across as more cheesy or corny to me than like frightening or thrilling.
I think that one. I think maybe what is scary to us changes as we get to adults, because like something like The Exorcist or maybe like the Zodiac Killer, something like that, where you're like, oh, this is something that can really happen. I think is more scary than like fucking huge teeth, just
Paranormal type shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would almost.
Well, paranormal, I guess, is a little different. But
paranormal,
like monsters.
I would say like the Ring kind of shit was kind of scary, you know.
Right.
But
I haven't seen it for so long. I'm wondering if it holds up. Because I remember when I was a kid, like you were talking about Chucky scared you.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger, the first one, it's so dumb if you explain it to somebody. And looking back on it, it seems so stupid. The scene where he has his arms stretch and it's covering both sides of the street and you couldn't run around him, that was terrifying to me at the time. But now I'm like, yeah, fucking corny shit. You know, but
like even Jason and all that shit, like it seems scary, but it was like, oh, I can outrun these motherfuckers for the most part. Just turn around. All they do is walk. You know what I mean? You just got to outpace them.
Yeah.
What's your favorite scary movie of all time? Do you have one?
Shining's probably up there.
You excited for the sequel?
Yes, I'm
What?
really curious.
I thought there
Whoa,
was-
dude, Doctor
Wow.
Strange. What is it, Doctor Strange?
Something
or no,
like
Doctor.
Or it's like
Doctor Sleepy.
Dr. Sleepy, yeah.
What? That's a Shining
Okay, I'm not going to
sequel?
tell you anything about it.
Holy
Have you seen
shit.
the preview?
No.
Oh, we'll show you.
Okay,
We'll show it
wait.
to you after
We
this.
should record
shit.
the reveal. Well, like, or his.
How does
his
somebody
review.
even
Okay.
try to live up to Kubrick?
Well, you'll have to watch.
Who is it? Who's directing?
Just fucking. We'll talk about it.
Well, why
later.
don't we fucking have something people want to
Can we
know?
put it up on the YouTube right now?
Oh, that's something we should start doing too, is including footnotes.
Okay.
Or something, just notes about, like maybe some links of stuff
Okay,
that we
I can
talked
do that.
about.
I can do that when I put it
Yeah.
up.
And we people can just go, we're just trying to make this the best podcast for you guys.
There
Yeah.
you
You know what
go.
I'm saying?
Um,
In ladies.
I'm trying to think. Oh, I also love The Visit. The Visit I thought was great.
Okay.
The grandparents. I love that.
I don't know why. It's not even that this movie's super scary to me, but I can rewatch American Psycho over and over again, and that movie just never gets old to me for some reason. I just love.
7. That wasn't really scary, but
How
I
good
loved
it is.
7.
Yeah,
What's in the box? What's in the box?
it is. Yeah, that one's good. Do you think Fight Club is a scary movie?
No.
Or that's just kind of a psychological
I
thriller
think it's
or
great
something?
though.
Yeah, Fight
You know
Club
what my
is
problem is I always want some
Gonorrhea?
sort of I always want some sort of a good ending for everything. I don't want the
Right.
the awful ending where like the bad guy, like No Country for Old Men just pissed me off
yeah.
because
See, I love
spoiler
that
alert,
movie.
you
Yeah.
know. But for instance, I like the psychological thrillers. I think Get Out was awesome.
Oh yeah, Get Out was awesome.
Get Out was awesome. I wasn't a huge fan of Us.
I liked it.
It was just.
Your cards are
I will say that it did have a lot of. It did have a lot of.
I also didn't like Black Panther.
questions though at the end
Yeah.
of Us. There was like,
Oh,
what the
dude.
fuck did
Oh,
I
no.
watch?
So here's us. So
The fan
Kane,
theories?
myself, Kane, Sean, Ricardo Flanagan, a few of us went and saw it. So when we were watching the movie, as when the movie ends, as we're walking out of the movie, I was like, fuck, maybe I give that maybe a 6.
Yeah.
And then we talked for like a half hour, an hour.
Now you're
and
10.
it turned it to a 10 because we were revealing so much shit.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, fuck, this meant that. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
fuck. Then I loved it. And I'm trying to think of some other good like scary movies. of the time.
So what is it about that where that movie did leave like it allowed you to speculate and kind of connect dots?
But I was able to
afterwards?
connect the dots. Like I feel like with it, they it's like you speculate, but they're I don't fucking there's no dot like what. So it was an alien.
Yeah, it didn't
That's
really,
what it was.
Yeah, some weird entity. Those like three. Those. Well, sorry to
Millions.
spoil it, but
Yeah.
it's been out for a while now. By this time,
Spoiler
so
alert.
It's like 3 orbs or something that's like floating, and you're just like, what the fuck are those, or where'd they come from, or
Yeah. Why?
But it
why
lives
was
off of fear.
Why a clown?
and why did it show up to Native Americans?
Yeah.
Over
And somebody
anybody
told me
else?
those weren't Native Americans; they were Neanderthals.
Oh shit. Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
wow. All right.
Yeah. See, which again.
But the Neanderthals were in America.
guess.
I literally think that that's what you'll always run into, though, when you try to take a 1,000-page book and turn it into a script. You cut things out that aren't necessarily explained. So, for instance, somebody said that all the Harry Potter movies were shit because they left out whatever parts
so
of it.
much.
But yeah,
I'll just say the one thing that I thought was like totally unnecessary, that seemed just out of place.
the black guy in that?
No. Why, is that what you thought?
No. This is your
well, you're the one who brought it up.
This is your point.
I'll tell you my point. I haven't said anything yet. Put words in my motherfucking mouth, Jay. Was when the guy said, "Here's Johnny."
Oh.
She's in the bathroom stall, and the guy opens the door. And he's, "Here's Johnny," and I'm like,
I think it was just like one of those Easter eggs.
But that has nothing to do with Stephen King at all.
But if you think about it,
Wait, did Stephen King write the
The
Shining?
Shining? I think he did, didn't he?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
did he?
I think so.
Oh.
Oh fuck.
But I will say this.
Fuck me if that's the case.
But it's almost kind of like a Ready Player One kind
I
of
think
thing,
he did
right?
actually.
Where
Yeah. Fuck.
where you look at those Easter eggs, like these people still are supposed to kind of live in the real world.
Yeah.
So that thing still took place in the real world. So it's just feeding off
Yeah.
of their fears.
Also,
And it was cool to see Stephen King in the movie.
yeah.
Cool
so
cameo.
The Shining. So Stanley Kubrick directed it or whatever, right? And he supposedly was the one that filmed the moon landing.
Yeah.
That's the theory.
The conspiracy.
Have you heard all the conspiracy shit about the Shining?
No, and I want to see that documentary still, that Room 237 or whatever.
Yeah, so supposedly Stanley Kubrick put all these hints in there either to fuck with people that he was that, or to let them know, yes, he did do that. Like the kid's sweater is NASA, says NASA, and has a fucking thing on it. Room 237, that's how many hundreds of thousands of miles the moon is from Earth.
Oh,
Wow.
And there's a bunch of like other little clues. I love shit like that.
That's crazy.
Sort of related. I watched the Challenger explosion last night.
Jesus Christ, Phil.
Why are you laughing about it?
I'm not laughing.
You're absolutely laughing.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's just because it's like,
No, why are you laughing about it?
I'm not trying to laugh about it.
You're totally laughing.
But you're making me laugh. I'm not laughing. It was really bad.
What are you laughing at?
Like a school teacher died.
Jesus Christ.
And
Why are you laughing about
and
it?
you like watched her parents like.
Why? Wait, why are you laughing about it?
I don't think just because you're making me.
Because you're uncomfortable with your awfulness.
Well, I was okay. So let me quick backstory. I started watching the 3rd season of Glow, and that's how the show starts out.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I was watching that, I was like, oh shit, I don't think I've ever really paid any attention to what that whole story was like, because that is fucking millions of dollars of machinery that
also
just
lives?
exploded.
Lives? Yeah.
The ones you were laughing about, right?
Right.
Jesus
They're more priceless than the spaceship.
Well, the craziest shit was like even when they were trying to go to the moon originally, how many people died before they even got into space? Like there was a crew that was actually in a shuttle and the oxygen levels had like creeped up too high and a spark went off. And
Oh fuck. Well, that's what was crazy too, because in this you hear him say like something, okay, throttle all the way up, and like that was the moment before. And then the guy, you assume he did whatever, and then you just see it, and it's like, oh shit, that was the wrong call.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. They found that all those astronauts on that mission had dandruff, which was weird, because they found their head and shoulders all in the ocean.
Jesus Christ.
Oh
It is awful. Oh
that
my
was
god.
you, Jay. That was you.
That was a joke going around at the time that happened.
Oh, man.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
I don't.
Okay, let me ask you
I
guys this.
think that joke is canceled.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If somebody gave you the chance to go to outer space and come back, would you?
Yeah. If I knew I was coming back.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you don't know. You don't know that you're coming back.
Wait, you don't
I mean,
know?
When do you ever know if you're truly
You mean
coming back?
you mean like
Right.
the plan is you'll go up and come back, but
Right.
you know you take any kind of risk that you would.
Exactly, like on the Virgin Atlantic or
Yeah.
whatever thing, flights to outer space. Would you do it?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think being an astronaut is kind of like the top.
Yeah,
The
kinda.
tops.
I mean, I'm with you, but there was also that shuttle that came in on the entry and burned up too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I'm just like, fuck.
I wanted to. We only got about 10
yeah,
minutes.
I just
left,
can't
but-
I can't imagine the G force. You know the isn't that what it is? Yeah, the G's. Just a fucking.
Live look at Phil's sex tape.
With his demon.
I mean, that'd be
my
so
God.
nuts, and then just explode, I guess. But
And you said you watched some of the nukes top
And so-
5, but you didn't watch the best
right,
ones.
yeah. Nah, I wanted to see some of the scary ones you guys were talking about, but I just it was a little like, oh, this is a little unnerving. But I don't know if are there conspiracy theories about the discovery and stuff? Do you know? I don't think there was anything about that, but it was
I'm
crazy
sure.
watching the newsroom on YouTube. You can find a lot of like the newsroom footage and stuff, and I mean they're just like,
Holy shit! Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole
yeah,
world was watching
so,
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Trying to cover that must have been challenging.
Ugh.
So
Jesus.
But it's also crazy to look at, like, I guess, you know, you go as far back as like Kennedy and stuff too, but to watch national tragedies like before September 11th, 2001, because that one was obviously the most epic, but
epic. You say it like fucking epic, though.
well, I mean, it was.
Yeah. I want to, before we get done with this, what was the experience hosting for you?
Oh yeah, so I did get to go up a week ago, wherever, at the show, and I had a lot of fun. I don't know.
We were dying.
We had.
guys
I
enjoyed
always
it,
enjoy watching you on stage, man. It is one of my few joys in life to watch you, especially like when it doesn't go well. Like I enjoy it more than when it does go well.
There was a few of those moments.
Yeah, but I mean, like you were still getting laughs, and I was happy that you were getting them. But when you didn't, I was like, oh, this is the best.
You know what you have to unlock? I was thinking about this is because I always tell you're the lovable loser. You know,
Right.
You know, not saying you're a loser, but you know what I
Right.
mean. You have to figure out a way to unlock to get that across to people as quickly as possible for them to get that about you before you even get into your stuff.
And
Right.
you've said that before in the past, but I thought I kind of tried to do that by doing the clown whistle pretty much right off the
I think that's level you going looking all fucking
Well, I think
psycho.
that shows them that I'm not normal,
Yeah.
that I'm a little off.
The best to the people listening out there was when Phil asked right before Jay went up. He was like, "Hey, can I show you a magic trick?" And
No,
literally,
he goes. Can I do another? Can I do one more joke or this
Oh, yeah.
magic trick before you bring
Okay.
you up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
tell
between.
wait,
And I was just like, yes. The only rule is you have to bring me on stage and do it in front of me on stage, so I
was
can
like,
experience
okay.
it. Yeah, Phil doesn't care.
And then I did the trick, and okay, so think of any time you've seen a magic trick in your
Like a good
entire
magician,
life.
though.
yeah.
That doesn't matter. The level of expertise of the magician does not matter, especially if they succeed with the fucking effect. I showed the magic trick, and I don't care if it's a joke or not a joke. The trick worked.
Hey.
I did the trick, and guess what? Nothing.
Yeah.
No
Hey,
reaction.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, buddy. Not a laugh, not a applause, not a what? Nothing. But then I followed it up with a joke, and the joke got a little bit of
What'd
something.
you say
but-
to him? You go.
Well, I actually realized later that I didn't even say the first part of the actual joke, but it still kind of worked. But I do the trick. I do this trick where I throw a knot into a rope, just holding the rope in one hand. I just toss it, and there's a knot in the middle of it. And then I tried to do that with my dick one time. I turned into a slip knot because I slipped it in, and she did not like it. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's so bad.
It's terrible, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be terrible on purpose. If you don't get it, then fuck you. You don't. My comedy's not for you. See you later. Head down the road, Jack.
All right, so let's do our worthies and worthlesses of the week. Go ahead, Phil. My worthy of the week is NFL football season has started. I know this is a week after, but
I also said that last week.
Yes.
I also said that last week.
That's all right.
That's fine.
My worthless.
We love football here.
My worthless of the week is the New England Patriots acquiring Antonio Brown. Jesus
yes,
Christ.
I'll agree with that.
Fucking great.
Yuck.
I love it.
Yeah, they needed more star players on their team.
I read an article too that supposedly announcement is being made tonight, and the theory is that Gronk's coming out of retirement.
No, he lost so much weight.
I know, but
Maybe.
we'll see.
Yeah.
So who knows when this is being played? Maybe he's coming out of retirement.
No shit. Early prediction. Oh, here's what I like. So I'll tell you this. You know, I have premonitions every now and then. Let's see if it comes true.
Oh, boy.
So a few years ago, I had a dream that Trump had won the presidency, and Hillary was leading in all the polls, and then I just didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So Trump ends up winning. I had a dream that Kamala Harris was giving a State of the Union address. So
Giving you head?
No. So I don't know. We'll see if it comes true.
Oh, shit. All right.
So let's put it on there.
I will say that when I used to live in California, anytime there was Kamala Harris news, I was always like, damn, this bitch got it, man.
Yo.
She this what?
This cool woman politician is killing it right now.
You know what?
I'm trying to talk hip, dude, for the kids, you know? This fucking bitch, dude, she's got it. Damn, bruh.
I will say this, though. Kamala Harris reminds me of every auntie who cussed me out when I did some wrong shit. You know what I mean? When she looks serious, she's like, this is absolutely...
Sorry for putting me... Anyway.
What? You're fine.
I guess that doesn't matter to the podcast.
All right.
Anyway, and I would say...
animal.
Yeah, I was just going to say my worthy... I know we're supposed to be doing worthlesses, but I like to keep it positive. My worthy is grandparents, if you still got them. Fucking love them. Let them know that you love them. Hang out with them. They're cool. Mine are in town, and I don't get to see them very often at all. And they always cook good food that cannot be replicated by anybody else. So appreciate them while they're here.
I tried to appreciate one last night, 60-year-old.
Yeah.
They were all over
between the
Jay.
legs.
No, this chick, it's a long story.
Okay.
I'm going to post a video about it.
Yeah. And then Manny, where can people find you, Manny?
At Manny Martin, JR. Yeah, just random shit, like Instagram, Facebook.
I'm at Big Irish J on everything. Go to youtube.com/Big Irish J. I'm going to be posting... I got a lot of crowd work stuff and dealing with hecklers and funny shit that I'm going to be posting up.
I'm at Like the Animal, and I really want to start putting more content out for you guys. One a day, we're trying to say that's a good goal. I should do one a day.
Yes.
And the day this comes out, we're recording our Big Pine Comedy Festival live podcast. So look out for that. And I hope you're excited as we are. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.